there, YouTube. Thanks for tuning in one more time. This is Joe Johnson 030. And Sam, my man, introduce yourself, my dude. What's going on?
This is SCL 0320.
Alright, and we're JVS here. This is a spoiler review for Black Mass. I guess. Well, I mean, spoiler review. So, basically, I want to start talking about the acting with this movie. Definitely is very. I mean, has all around high class actors.
Oh my gosh.
Johnny Depp did an amazing job.
Why?
How's that?
Why did he do an amazing job?
What do you mean?
I want you to describe it to you. I mean, the joint that we just saw, man, the dude took a noose to somebody's neck and hung him while they were in the chair. You seeing the eyes bulge all out and spit everywhere. I mean, I'm just kind of describing just one minuscule thing that he did, but like, it was amazing, y'all. Like, I mean, as far as their performances, they did an amazing job. There was never a point that I felt comfortable, and that's one thing I didn't bring up in the non-spoiler, is that every time that Johnny Depp was on the scene, or every time like you see him just with his crew, you kind of get this Casino with Joe Pesci kind of feel, or this Goodfellas kind of feel, but you just realize that this man, he's not just mean for territorial purposes or make himself presented. He's just evil. Like, he's slimy, he is evil. He takes, what did he do to old boy? What was his name?
Which dude?
John Coley. He, like, Joel Edgerton, he plays his character. He's an FBI agent, and he decides he wants to kind of go and interweave with this man, you know, Whitey Bulger. And he knows what kind of man he is, but he realizes, like, man, I can use him as an asset, but there's something else going on there that you find out that he looks up to him. Like, he not just idolizes him or anything like that, but he really looks up to him as something, you know, bigger than himself. And it's like he came from the same streets as him. Mm-hmm. And his brother, Whitey Bulger's brother, played by Benedict Cumberbatch, who's a senator. All these guys are interwoven. You got FBI, you got senators, politics, and then you got just evil, you know? And I mean, he has small time territorial stuff, but eventually they take out the Italian mob, they take out the other side, the East Corner, and then he basically just starts engulfing everybody. And it's crazy because at a certain point you start seeing Joe Edgerton's character come from using him as an informant, or being used as an informant or whatnot, them helping each other, to him slowly just being corrupted, him slowly disintegrating and being a sleazeball and trying to cover up murders. There was a point that I was thinking, man, he about to just kill somebody himself. Mm-hmm. Just because he wants to hush the person up so he can continue to profit from allowing Whitey Bulger to do whatever he wants to feed information. It was like, he was the epitome of in too deep. Like, I've seen people go into the criminal element, but he stayed a cop and just went in. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's some people that go undercover as a narc. He didn't do that. He just stayed as he was. He just worked with the dude. Mm-hmm. And you just see him, like, to the point he just doesn't care. So they have this, like, little greeting at his house or whatever. That amazing scene that you see in the trailer where he's like, I'm just saying. He basically kind of crosses him as like the guy's partner and saying, like, look, you give over like this recipe, what's to say you're gonna give over me, you know? And of course, foreshadowing, that does happen later. But like, his wife doesn't like Whitey Bulger at all. Like, it's really evident. And Johnny Depp's character goes up to her room and he starts just like putting his hands all over her face, wrapping his hands around her neck, and it was just so uncomfortable. It was so dark. I was like, bruh, there's nothing this man wouldn't do. Just because this guy's an FBI agent, you in his house. That means that you're willing to do anything you want to, and you're gonna get away with it because he's letting to. I mean, he went up there. I mean, you know your wife's upstairs. You know your wife's upstairs, and you're gonna let this man go up there. He could have done anything. He didn't know. He let him go up there. So I mean, from that standpoint, there's a lot of ruthless things that he does, and I can't even name all of them. But he kills up a whole bunch of people, man. And it's like some of the stuff, some of the kills that he just does it just because, out of paranoia, or just because he wants to prove a point, or just because he just doesn't care. The prostitute, I mean, it was one of his friends. Like, I forgot the guy's name, but it was right-hand guy. And the right-hand guy literally was like, he was telling him, he was like, yo, we're cool, you know, and you're my right-hand guy. So he killed all these different people for him. But then he finally has like a little girlfriend. She gets arrested, prostitute. They take her to her house, say they're gonna treat her up nice. He just kills her.
It was a ploy.
Straight up. Tells me, man, like, yo, man, take your mess up. Go clean this up. It's just craziness, man. What did you think about the movie, though? Spoiler-wise.
I mean, what gets me, you know what I'm saying, was the fact that these characters all came from the same place, and all of them were heavy hitters. You know what I'm saying? Whitey, he came, you know, he's a kingpin. His brother, William, he was a senator. You know what I'm saying? And pretty much, Connolly, he was an FBI agent. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was a high-ranking FBI agent.
Yeah.
You know, so all these guys came from the same place. William, his brother, oh my gosh, the dude was straight, like, he would stand his ground, like, the dude was just firm. And you could definitely tell that with, pretty much his interaction with Connolly, because he didn't necessarily like Connolly like that. He only, like, tolerated him because of his association with his brother.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And basically because they came from the same place. But other than that, he didn't necessarily like him.
That's real.
And, like, these dudes are just tough, man. Like, and one thing I liked about Connolly's character was this guy, he was just, he wasn't necessarily like a person to get his hands dirty per se, but he was just a dude who could, like, talk himself out of mostly any situation. And that's what he's been getting away with it for years. But you know what I'm saying, when he got into that new bureau and that new FBI agent came in, he shut that down. And his performance, oh my God, was just like, this dude was a bulldog. What was his name? Fred Wishak. That guy was a straight bulldog, man.
He was.
Like, these heavy hitters, bro, they were just,
even Kevin Bacon,
so
that was like
determined.
the overseer
Yeah.
of the police department.
all these guys were just like, you know what I'm saying, were just, you had Whitey, his brother, Fred, and then the other FBI agent, man. They were straight bulldogs, man. And they were just like, these guys, all of them were just like tough characters, man. And that's what blew me away, man. Most of these guys just came from the same place. And I was just like, that in itself would be a problem, because these guys are empowered, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it just goes to show you, man, just how quick, like, the system can be corrupt.
Yeah.
And in this case, how corrupt it was. Not saying everybody was on the wrong side, but definitely Connolly was, and he was getting away with it, man. And it was just crazy. Yeah, these guys are not pushovers, like, any of them. Not only that, but like some of Whitey's henchmen, we talked about briefly how they have character development, not through the plot, but you can see it on their faces. Like, two of his main henchmen, man, were just like, after that prostitute gets killed, or pretty much his stepdaughter. That was his stepdaughter, you know what I'm saying? And he was down the hall when Whitey killed her. And it was just like, bro, after that, bro, he became like, yeah. You know, all these guys were heavy hitters. But yeah, I mean, even after that, his stepdaughter gets murdered in front of him. Like, he becomes a zombie, and it's just like,
Man, yeah, I forgot about that.
he's because they're seen at the dinner table, they're just like talking and eating or whatever, and he's just like, he's not even saying anything, he's just at the table. And at that point it's like they've crossed the line to like there's no return for these guys.
Yeah.
And it's just like they know that. And before it was like they were bound together by loyalty and trust, but now it was like they're just together because they have nowhere else to go, and it's like it's just survival now. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, even the supporting characters, man, there was character development that was subtle but powerful. Also, man, like, this is not a celebrated gangster movie. Like, this is like, I felt literally when I was watching this, I was watching like an episode of like Criminal Minds or something like that. Like,
yeah.
I was like, this is pretty heavy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, these guys are like never once I was like, okay, this is like your typical gangster movie. Like, no, these guys are criminals, cold-blooded criminals, man. But I like how they progressed it and how they pretty much told the story through people being interrogated.
Yeah.
I like how they did that, and not only that, but I like how they kind of told the story like from the point of Whitey Bulger's character getting out of Alcatraz, getting back from pretty much like prison.
Yeah.
And like one of the guys who was being interrogated, he was like, yeah, like started out people actually liked him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He was looked at as a hero almost, and and it's crazy because this was still like when his mother was alive and he had a son, like son was still alive, he was in a relationship. But even then, like his lifestyle, man, it was just like it just put him on this dark path, and it was just like there's one point in the movie like where he just like he lost his son, lost his wife, and then he lost his mother. Like at that point, it was just like emotionally, like, he was just like he lost everything, and then after that, he was just like went down the deep end. If not, he hadn't before. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, so my thought process is that he was always that person. I mean, he was always that hard-nosed, you know what I'm saying? But it was like he had things to latch onto that kept a semblance of humanity. Like, such as like, all right, I'm killing this person because they're worse than me. Or I'm helping out the neighborhood by keeping these people out. But at a certain point, the guy that was the informant to him, there was an informant to John Coley. They were sitting down at the bar, and this is when they were basically under the heat at that point. They were about to get taken under. He's like, why didn't do this, didn't do that? And he's like, do you remember who this man is? Like the kids, the children, 12 years old and younger, he gave them the dope. He was the one that kept this neighborhood in the worst times in centuries. And it brings a realization that, I mean, his whole pursuits of stuff might have been one way, but he's got a Lex Luthor complex and thinking that, okay, well, I'm doing this for the greater good. At a certain point, like, he doesn't really care. After he lost his son, his wife due to it, his mother, it was like there was nothing more for him to latch onto except for to just engulf everything, basically. Like, I mean, his soul was already black, but it was like it bleeded out after he lost his mom specifically. Because even his brother, him, John, and and Bulger, they all had like a decent relationship. But after the mom died, they all were never really the same, in my opinion. Yeah, because like, I mean, you could tell like when they first started, they're like, you first interact their characters like, or as viewers, is like when they were in that bar and the guys were just like at the table. You could tell like they were thugs, you know what I'm saying? There was like cruel language, but you could tell that they respected each other and that they had a code. Yeah. As long as you are in line, you don't like, you know what I'm saying, they're straight. You're not gonna necessarily get iced out. Right. But I mean, but after like his mom died or whatever, like it was just like
those lines were erased. Like anybody was liable to get, you know what I'm saying, get cut off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even what's her name? Like going again, talking about that prostitute girl. There really wasn't. He didn't necessarily need to kill her, cause she didn't really say anything. But he couldn't afford where he was at in his life. He could not afford the risk, even the risk of having somebody out him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And because he was like his right hand man, she was his right hand man, Stabb's daughter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think if it was early in the game, he wouldn't have, you know what I'm saying, killed her. You know what I'm saying? But that joint was just raw, bro. That movie was just raw, and it was just like, it was like I was literally watching Criminal Minds. I was like, oh my god, this is dark.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, to me, even the way that the death sequences and the violence was actually taken, every sound, every movement, everything that was actually going on, it really felt believable. Like, especially like the violence. The violence really felt real and sounded real. Normally, like, you know, like you can feel like, man, tension, like, man, this just went down. I can't believe it, you know? Like, if you look at Daredevil, you look at the hallway sequence, like, that was one of the best sequences ever shot for TV. But the sound is also another thing with there. And I was like, there are a lot of subtle moments in this. It's just acts of violence that you're just like, wow. And I think that the sound editing and the pacing were a big product of that. And the director knew exactly what he wanted to do as far as the payoff. But like I said in the non-spoiler review, this movie was not made to entertain. This movie was to show a depiction of a man pure of darkness that basically, as one whole plate, consumed everybody in basically his black mass. And it's a really good job on Johnny Depp's role as far as Benedict Cumberbatch, Kevin Bacon. I mean, everybody's performance was riveting, but every single sequence kind of kept you like jarring. But this is not a lot that really happens. This is not meant to excite you. The movie is not meant to entertain you. Even the ending, everybody's locked up, dead, or either like telling. And even Whitey, like, you think he's gonna make it out and he gets away, and you're like, dang, man, that's scary, man. This nigga just walking around somebody, and like, everybody else is in jail, he's not. Nope, you found out in 2011, Ninja got caught. So nah, the boogeyman ain't out, he's in jail. Was it 2 consecutive life sentences and 5 years extra or something like that?
Yeah.
So, I mean, this movie wasn't meant to glorify that kind of lifestyle. It's really embodies like what it truly is, which is pure evil in and of itself.
Wow.
And so it was really good.
Yeah. I like to point out too, you know what I'm saying, before we wrap this up, is like when, you know, you see this group of like this gang or whatever bound by loyalty, you know what I'm saying, they pretty much kill off any type of rat, any type of mole or anything. But yet at the end of the movie they're all just spilling all the goods, you know what I'm saying? And you're like, how did they, these stone cold, you know what I'm saying, killers just give them all this information? And it was just like, they literally did not care anymore. Whether, it was like, they themselves were like, you know what I'm saying, like, yo, like it was crazy. Like, they didn't even care about themselves. Like, they was like, you can tell it in their faces. And that's why the actors in this movie did so much of a great job. Like, there were subtle pauses where like the detectives was asking a question, they couldn't even give an answer because it was like they're hesitant, and it was just like, dang, I was like, these guys been through some crap.
Yeah. Like,
it was like they just did so much dirt that they could not go back. It seemed like they felt like there was no redemption for them. Like, and they was just like, look, man, like, you know, like, if they die, like, yo, this is it. Like, there's no court of honor before us. Like,
yeah,
there is no honor between us. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
like the life that they live was like, there is no honor, there's no code. This was just, you know what I'm saying, cutthroat.
Yeah,
just craziness, man. And it was just like, you know, it was bad. It was just bad.
Yeah, one thing I'll say is two different things. One, so we need to wrap this up because I don't know how long our camera's gonna actually last. I apologize because right now I'm actually working on our New York Comic Con. We're going to New York Comic Con 2015, and we're just getting everything acclimated. So that's why I'm checking on the phone. So I apologize for not being completely in this one. I was more in it with the non-spoiler review. But one thing I also say about this movie is that the way it resonated onto me, like, it's really dark.
It's so really
and I need to kind of lighten my mood up, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I might play some Destiny or play something else just because, like, I personally, y'all don't know because I haven't released any footage out, but I played a character that was dark, that was evil before this movie had even came out, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's part of the reason why I have my beard shaved, because my beard, I kept it for a year and a half just to stay embodied into this character. So when I think about what Johnny Depp did, and the prosthetics and just even the context, is just such a dark element, and he went there. He really did go there. I hadn't seen him act like that in years, and I mean, he should definitely deserve an award, but it's just too dark for me. So I'm gonna have to stop talking about it, to be quite honest with you.
Basically.
Not that I'm not gonna want to see the movie again necessarily. I'm gonna definitely buy it when it comes out, but I'm gonna look at Scorch trials, and I might look at the new Bobby Fischer, and you know, look at something wholesome. I might look at Fast and Furious 7 again. I don't know, but yeah, I gave it a 9.0. I think you gave it a 9.0.
I gave it a 9, solid 9.
So
solid 9.
Hopefully you enjoyed our spoiler-free review for this. If you did, leave a like below. Thanks everybody for watching. This is STL0320.
Joe Johnson 030.
We make up JVS. Hopefully y'all have a blessed evening, blessed night, blessed day.
Yeah, God bless.
We got more stuff coming y'all way. Deuces, everybody. Like I ran that. I've been trademarking that, Jane.
Yeah, you